again to the Smartphone Apps class, group number 2, and today we are going to be talking about some advanced different applications that we've not talked about, but I want to start first with, this is an application, but this is something I've been teasing for quite a bit of time. It is a flash drive that works with the iPhone and the iPad and the Android and all of those other devices like that. So that's what we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about first. I'm going to do this a little out of order, but I'm going to do it in the order that best suits the presentation that we're going to do. So this is the last thing on the list. This is the SanDisk Connect wireless flash drive. Now, I know a lot of you have said, how do I increase the storage on my iPhone or my iPad or my Android or other things like that? And there's a lot of options. I used to show an option that was this guy right here. You don't need to write this down. You don't want to buy this product. I'm just showing you it's a product that exists. This is from Lexar. And what it was is it's a tiny little charging cable, but inside of the charging cable it has 64 gigs of storage. There's actually 64 gigs of storage inside the charging cable, and my absolute favorite thing about this charging cable is there's actually a picture that shows you how to plug the charging cable into the wall. Things they print on cables in China. It's like, use for charging. Plug. Plug to wall. I'm like, oh. Don't put in microwave, yes. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you a true story. Every single cruise, someone comes to me on deck 6, they says, I swear this is a true story. They come to me on deck 6, they go, I got some food from the Ocean View Cafe, I put it in my fridge, and then I tried to put it in the microwave, and it wouldn't warm it up. And I look at them, and I'm like, what microwave? What microwave? So I go back to their cabin. What do they always try to do? They put the food in the safe. No way. They put the food in the safe every single cruise, but that's a discussion for another time. So today what we're talking about is the SanDisk wireless flash drive. So I had this one, which was from Lexar. The problem with this is it actually plugs into devices. So this plugs in with the lightning connector. Now, as we talked about yesterday, is the lightning connector going to be around much longer? No. My personal opinion, no, it's not going to be around much longer. Now, we're going to go over a bit more of USB Type-C and different things in the theater in 2 days' time, so not tomorrow, but the next day, when we talk about my crystal ball. I just named that during the break between the two classes. That thing is going to drive me crazy, but I'll leave it going on. But what this is this is a wireless flash drive. This is a little bit different. I want to make sure we all understand how this works. So you charge it, and you sync files from a computer by plugging it in to a USB port. But when you want to connect it to an iPhone, to an iPad, to an Android device, any type of wireless device, it makes its own Wi-Fi signal. So you'll see that I want to talk about the Wi-Fi signals that are available on my phone right now. There's iLounge, which is my internal network. It's what runs the TV, runs the computers, runs all of that. There's Celebrity Wi-Fi and Celebrity Crew, which are the Celebrity Wi-Fi and the Celebrity Crew. There's Mevo 51299, which is a little camera right there that's actually running here, and that's the Mevo right there running on that little device. So I've got the Mevo right there. Let me get that running out big. I don't know why it's so dark. Oh, it's because my iPhone went dark. Okay, so we got the Mevo running there. We've got all kinds of different things that are running there, but then you'll see something that says SanDisk wireless flash drive. You see that right there? Yeah. SanDisk Connect something, 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 something. So we got SanDisk Connect something, something, something. Now that SanDisk Connect something, something, something is the wireless flash drive. For demonstration purposes right now, I'm not going to connect to it because I still want to show it out on the screen, if that makes sense. But I am going to show you how it works. So you get this, you turn it on, it makes its own Wi-Fi network. You connect to that Wi-Fi network, and then you would open up the SanDisk flash drive app. So I've got the SanDisk Connect drive. I'm going to give it a second. Hopefully it wants to play. And this is going to give me all the contents that are on the drive. Now I can use this app to do multiple things. One of the things I can actually use this app to do is I can back up all of my photos and all of my videos from my phone to the flash drive. But backup's not the right word. I can copy all of them, because if this flash drive moves around, is it a backup? No. Just so you know, yet another crew member came to me last night with a backup hard drive. This happens every single night. Rich, my backup hard drive's not working. And I go, no, it's not your backup. They're like, I dropped it on the floor. I go, if you dropped it on your floor, it's not your backup. So I would say that. So I've got this guy right here, and I've got all the information here. If I wanted to go here, I could say camera roll backup, and what it would do is it would be able to back up my camera roll. So I can back up photos, I can back up videos. Now this is not Google Photos. This does not require internet. but it's only going to here. So if you were in a, per se, a crisis, and you don't have Google Photos and you need to get the space off your device, you put it on this wireless flash drive right here. Now, some of you in this room are sitting around and you're saying, well, I don't know if I need this because I have so much space on my device. Some of you in this room are saying, I have no space on my device, I need this. So we're going to talk about both case scenarios today. We're going to talk about you have a lot of room on your device, and we're going to talk about you don't have a lot of room on your device, because this is, you don't have a lot of room on your device. Now what I have on here is so I can back up my photos to here, back up my videos, but I also can back up entire TV series. On another one of these, I have every episode of Columbo. I love Columbo. I have every episode of Columbo on there, and it's like, okay, why do I have every episode of Columbo? But I do. But I have another series that I can open up, and the video I'm about to play is not on my phone. It's not on the internet. It's on the flash drive. Now, for me to show this to you on the display, I want to explain to you the progression that's happening right now, because you go, oh my God, that's crazy. It's going from my phone to the flash drive to the iLounge to the computer to there to the screen. It's a mess. Yeah.
Okay.
When you're using it on your phone, you just connect to the SanDisk wireless flash drive app. Yeah.
Okay, let's say there's something that I wanted, a series I want to download.
Okay, we're not going to talk about where that comes from, though. Understand. That series, if you're downloading it from Apple, it needs to be loaded on the device. If you're paying for it from Apple, it needs to be loaded on the device.
Okay.
If we're talking about series that your grandson gave you,
No, if it could be Netflix.
Netflix is a different animal. Netflix is a different animal. We're going to talk about Netflix. Netflix, you have to load to the device. You cannot load externally.
So you can load it to the device.
You can't pull it off. No, that needs to stay in the app. On iPhones, that needs to stay in the app. There's content on this drive. Don't question where the content comes from. Just understand there's content there. If you want a movie or a TV show, just tell your grandkids you want that movie or TV show, and the grandkids will find it. I'm not one to teach you about piracy right now, but I'm no saint, okay? Let's just put it like that. I'm no saint, because if you buy a movie, you have to sit through the FBI warning. If you steal it, you don't even see it. That's my reality there. Stuff that you buy on iTunes, you can't put on this drive. That needs to be staying on iTunes. That needs to be staying on the phone.
Richard, do you need to be on a broadband?
No,
to do
so
this?
you do not need to be connected to the internet to do this. What you would do is you would just go to the Wi-Fi, and in your case scenario, all of your case scenario, you would just connect to the wireless flash drive. The fact that I need to show it on the screen is the reason I'm doing some crazy things. Now, this is using Wi-Fi just to connect the two devices. This does not give your device internet. Let's be very clear. The Wi-Fi is just an interconnect. So instead of plugging it in, it's using Wi-Fi to connect. GoPros do the same thing. This camera does the same thing. It's just using Wi-Fi to connect it. And if I go ahead and I play this video, now the video is going to be a little bit jumpy on this screen because it's jumping through about 7 different hoops to show there. But you'll see on my phone, it's completely smooth. So I have it right on there. I have it on my phone, completely smooth. And I can keep on. There's 200 gigabytes of storage on this drive. Now,
About how much?
well, let me continue. They make lower ones. They make them as low as 32 gigabytes. Some of you might not need 200 gigabytes. This is the one they sell in the Apple Store. It's a 200 gigabyte drive. They make them from 32 gigs all the way up to 256 gigs. Do not buy a 256 gig flash drive because it costs double what a 200 gig flash drive does. And you're just getting 56 more gigs. So for the price, you're better off buying 2 of these if you need 2 of these. 256 is a magical number that getting to it costs double what 200 does in the flash drive spectrum, just to give you a little idea. Because the chips get smaller and everything, what it is a 256 is just a 128, 200 is just a 128 stacked in the 64. That's all it is. It's a 128 and a 64 stacked in series, simple. But when you get to 256, you can't use 2 128s. You have to actually go ahead and do it a little bit different. It's circuitry. But the cool thing is you can store things, you can put them in folders. I'll give you an example. I'll show you a simple process. So this was, if you didn't make it earlier, this was the class in Cellar Masters. That was gigantic. Piled out the door. That was the questions thing in Cellar Masters. That's why I said come to your own questions thing later on. But if I wanted to take this and I wanted to share it out, remember that share button from yesterday that we talked about with AirDrop? The cool thing is I can hit that share button, and you know what shows up there? SanDisk Connect Drive.
So we could all get your whatever series you want.
Technically, yes. You don't want to watch that show.
No.
And then it's going to open up the SanDisk Connect Drive, and it's going to say, okay, where do you want to save it to? So you can choose the folder you want to save it to, and you can say, upload here, and it's actually going to go ahead and it's going to upload that item to the flash drive.
Can you put music?
You can put music, you can put, here's the thing, anything that has copyright protection on it is tied to your device.
Oh,
The thing that's important, here's the thing, why people steal music, I would buy content if content were easy to get and it worked everywhere. The answer is, it doesn't. This is why a lot of people don't understand it. This is, you know what, this is something good about the future. The music and the movie industry are going to fail. They're going to fail miraculously. People think I'm talking crazy, but I'm going to show you. I mean, we talked about cell phone networks failing earlier today. Those are going to fail. I'm not in T-Mobile in the long run. I like T-Mobile in the short run, if that makes sense. But I'm not a big one in T-Mobile in the long run. So that's actually copied to the drive right there. But I'm going to show you something real quick. Let me turn off the mirror and turn back on the mirror. This is always a very unique thing to show. Let me put this back up on the screen. Back up on the screen. Back up on the screen. So this wireless flash drive, I can move things over, I can put things on, I can take things off, I can do all of that. What's going on is in here, I'm recording a screen and putting it up on another screen, and it's a lot of fun, to say the least. So let me give it a second. I want to show you a little bit more about the wireless flash drive. Come on.
So, Richard, if you hook up to your wireless flash drive on your little Wi-Fi connector, then you have to go into a SanDisk Connect Drive app.
You go to the SanDisk Connect Drive app to actually access the content. Yes, you are correct in that assumption. Yes. You go to the SanDisk Connect Drive app to actually access the content. Give me a couple seconds for things to decide they want to catch up, because whenever I show this, I'm jumping so many different networks, it just gets very, very angry at me. I don't like the fact that it gets angry at me, but the good news is I won't have to take it off again once I get it going up on the screen. Now, any questions about that wireless flash drive? Does that make pretty good sense to everybody?
So,
did you say earlier, Richard, it's a one-way only?
No. The one-way, I'm looking for where it fell. The one-way thing is the Apple SD card adapter. That's a one-way thing. This will go both ways. You can go in or you can go out. So you go in or you go out. I'm just waiting for things to want to behave with me, which things are just not behaving right now. Give it a couple seconds. When I show this, to show it on the screen is not an easy task. I'm going to leave it for a second. Oh, come on. It's Jane that's doing it. We'll blame Jane. Okay, so that's the SanDisk wireless flash drive. Any questions about that, or does that make pretty good sense? Now, you charge it by just plugging it in. So you plug it into a computer and you charge it, and it charges. You can buy them, I said, up to 32, from 32 gigs all the way up to 256 gigs. But should you buy the 256?
No.
It's just not worth it. You're better off buying two 200s instead of one.
About how much do they cost?
About $99 for the 64 or 128 gig in that same spectrum there. And you're looking at, for the bigger one, for the 200 gig, it's about $150. And for the 256, you will pay about $300. So
Cheaper on Amazon?
about the same price everywhere.
Even at the Apple Store?
Even at the Apple Store, yeah. Even at the Apple Store, especially the Apple Store, they're about the same price everywhere, to give you an idea of what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off my SanDisk Connect wireless flash drive. And actually, this is okay with what I'm about to show you, because I'm going to actually show you a magic trick. So I don't need to be on the screen to show you a magic trick. Now we're going to start from the top of the list. We may skip a few things and come back to them if it works good for us. We're going to start with a magic trick called iForce. Do you see that there? I-F-O-R-C-E. So it's called iForce, and it's a great magic trick. I use this one all the time. Now, I cannot show you this on the screen yet. I need to show you the trick first. So, I have a little notepad right here. You see my little notepad? I'm just kind of going, I have a little notepad. Now, what I'm going to do with this little notepad, what I'm doing with my computer is completely irrelevant to the trick. I'm just trying to get something to behave. What I'm going to do with my little notepad is I'm going to have someone pick a number between 1 and 4. This has not been pre-set up. We haven't talked about this. I'm going to have you pick a number between 1 and 4. And just so you can see that it actually works, go ahead and just put your finger there. Write something. No.
Oh,
Yeah, there we
write
go.
the
It works.
number.
It works. No, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying. You can see no tricks. I'm willing to pass this around and show it to everyone. You're going to pick a number between 1 and 4. You've got it in your head. All right. Now, I'm going to guess it right now. Now, I'm not showing you the screen yet for a reason, but I will show you how this works in a couple minutes' time. All right. Actually, let me check if I did that right. Oh, yeah, I did that right. Yeah. Got you still. So, go ahead and show your number with your hands up in the air. Oh, she showed it with 2 hands. Now, put it down. Would that be impressive if I got her number right on the first try? Yeah, sort of, but you know what I did? Watch me, keep me honest, make sure there's no tricks here. There's a trick there. But, Aww. Now the odds of me getting that right were 1 in 4. So let's make odds a little bit more difficult, and we'll go with someone else. Now here's the thing. Just to make sure I didn't pre-set up this trick, I want you to choose someone else. Okay. 1 to 8. This is easy, okay?
1 to 8 this time.
Yeah, I'm going to make the trick a little bit harder. So you're going to choose from 1 to 8. You're going to keep me honest right here. I'm going to guess. I got you. Go ahead and put your number, number hands in the air. Okay. Keep me honest here. Watch the phone.
Did she say a number?
Yeah, she put it in the air. She's not going to say it because everybody thinks it might be...
7.
Okay, that's okay. She can say it because guess what? Even though she said it, I still got it. Now, once we get a trick like this right twice, then what do? You play for money. Come on, guys. No, you don't quit. You play for money.
I'm gonna play with the grandchildren.
So now we're gonna play for money. So what I've done is I'm just writing a little $sign there. A little $sign there. And what I want someone to do is I want you to, does anybody have any cash on them? I'm not taking your cash. Does anybody have any cash in their pockets? We're going to check. He's got cash. Okay. I'm going to have you pull out a bill of some sort. Let me guess what bill you're going to pull out. I got it. Okay. So he's going to pull out a bill, hold it in the air.
I haven't pulled it out yet.
I know. I've already guessed it, though, before you pulled it out.
Got it.
Pull it up. Put it in the air. So everyone can see? Yeah? Yeah, that would be impressive if I got it. And you know what?
Very.
Watch right here. Ready?
Wow.
Now, why didn't now are you going to show us how
Yes, I'm going to show you how the trick works now.
Why didn't you use that yesterday with your stocks?
Why didn't I use that yesterday with my stocks? Because that's not the way these things work, ma'am. So I know why these things aren't working now. Let me turn off my Wi-Fi.
Oh no.
Turn it back on. Now I know what happened. Okay, give me 3 seconds. We are good to go. I figured out what happened here. Let's see. Apps. 22. I need to save the earlier class, and we're going to go back out to the Apple TV, and I'm going to show you how this works now that I know why it was doing its weird thing. New screen recording. All right. So let me show you how the trick works now. This is where it starts to get a little bit fun. I'm going to actually show you how the trick works. It's called iForce. That's the name of the trick. It's about a $3-4 app from the App Store, but it's a really, really cool trick. So it's called iForce, but it will show on your screen as something called Doodle. So when you install it, it'll show us something called Doodle. The secret to the trick, let's go 1 to 4. The secret to the trick, what I do is when I open the app, I do legitimately have a notepad. There is no trick to that. And I can change the font, I can change it to black, I can change it to green, I can change it to blue. I can change the font or the colors however I want. But here's where this trick starts to get interesting. So you picked a number between 1 and 4, right? When she picked the number, all I did is I went and flipped the phone upside down. The trick would not be impressive the way I showed it there, like that. But here's what I do. I choose 1 to 4, which is the easy way to do it. I scribble, scribble, scribble. And when I go like that, the screen's blank. Now choose the number again. You can say it out loud. It's fine. Say the number out loud. 2. So if I were to take the phone, I need a table of sorts. It's kind of elevated. If I were to take the phone and lift it up from the top, it would be a 1. If I were to lift it from this way, it's a 2. If I were to lift it the other way, it's a 3. The other way, it's a 4. Now, that's how I do 1 to 4. And then it gets a little bit more difficult. How do I go to 8? So if I lift it from the top quickly, it gives, quicker, it gives me a 1. And if I do it slowly, it gives me a 5. From the side, slowly it gives me a 6. Bottom, slowly, it gives me 7. Side, slowly, it gives me 8. So how do you play with the money? Once you understand 1 through 8, there's only so many bills of currency. So you choose it on money. 1 is $1, 2 is $2, 3 is $5, 4 is $10, 5 is $20, 6 is $50, 7 is $100. So no matter what bill he pulled out, I've got it right there. Now here's the cool thing. That uses the sensors on your phone to do something you've never seen before. Don't you agree? You've never seen the sensors on your phone do that before. It's a really, really, really cool trick. It's called iForce. I-F-O-R-C-E is the name of that app. Now, we talked about the wireless flash drive and increasing the capacity of your phone, but hopefully some of you have phones that have a bit more capacity, correct? You have phones that have 128, 64, 256. Well, the next phone you get is going to have a bit more capacity. Also, this is something that the earlier class knew already. This is gonna make some people's brains hurt a little bit. I like to say that. Does Apple own the iTunes store?
Yes, I would
No.
I think so.
No. They own iTunes, but the iTunes store is owned by the movie and music industry. That's why it's such a pain. That's why, you notice if you want to put music on your phone, you can only do it with one computer. You can only use your computer to put the music on your phone. You can only use your computer to put the movies on your phone, right? We understand that basic fact. So what if I told you there was a way to put music and video on your phone without iTunes? Okay? So this is the next app we're going to talk about. It's called VLC. Now, I want you to write down the full name of this application because I always forget to do it. It's called VLC for Mobile. Why that is there's a lot of fake apps called VLC Remote, VLC Player. VLC for Mobile is the actual name of the app. So it's called VLC for Mobile. And if I open up VLC, I'm opening up on my iPhone. What I need to do to transfer stuff between multiple devices is to make sure that both of the devices are on the same Wi-Fi network. So in this room, my laptop and my phone are both on iLounge. So both of those devices are on iLounge, so I'm going to make sure that the devices are on the same Wi-Fi network. Once they're on the same Wi-Fi network, I press this little traffic cone right here. And then there's a button that says Sharing via Wi-Fi. So what's really cool is I've made a separate video on VLC that's on the iLearn Review channel. And you can actually see it on the iLearn Review channel, but I'm going to show you the whole process anyway. So sharing via Wi-Fi gives me this little address right here, 10.0.1.68. What I need to do then is go to any computer that's on the same network and type that into the web browser. So I'm going to show you what happens. I'm going to take my phone off the screen, 10.0.1.68. Let me go ahead and click back. And I'm going to open up Safari on my laptop, and I'm going to make a new page. New window, new tab, whatever, 10.0.1.68, and then what I will get is my VLC. And then all I have to do is take any video or audio file I have, drag it to where it says drop files here, and it will be wirelessly transferred to my phone inside of the VLC app. No need for iTunes, no need to even plug the phone into a computer. Think about that for a second. So, okay. I'm going to show you again. Let me just bring over a video real quick so I can show you. So I'm going to type in the address. I'll show you where I got the address. So I just want to switch back to the phone once more. So I'll show you where I got the address. Then when I get the address, I can take any file, any video file or any audio file I have and drop it to where it says drop files. This is now sending it directly to VLC on my phone. So it's not going to be in your music app. It's going to be inside VLC, which is far better than the music app in my opinion.
But this is music that's on your phone.
This is music that I have acquired from somewhere. Let's just be completely honest.
It's on one
It's
device.
on my computer, and I want to move it over to my phone.
I mean, honestly, Richard, when you own a CD and you try and get the thing on more than one device, it's a pain. This
Of course
could be for legitimately gotten.
Actually, it can't be, because if you're owning a CD and you're trying to put it on more than one device, it's illegal. Really? So, yes, all of these things are incredibly illegal. Now, trust me, I'm not the police. I don't care. But why this life is so hard, I'm going to explain to you how I deal with music a bit later on in the class so you can see. But I just want to say, if you have a video or an audio file, I'll give you an example where this works. The event coordinator on board does a lot of weddings. They bring the wedding music on a flash drive and she needs to play it on an iPhone or an iPad. This is how we get the wedding music from the flash drive to the iPhone or iPad. So you just open up this address, I'll show you where the address is again, and you can drag and drop the file directly into VLC, which is what's very, very cool. Yeah?
So you're saying address.
I'll show you where it is again. Let me just show you.
What is the address of?
It will change. It's called your IP address of your device. I'll show you where the address is in a minute. Now, this is how you would put things on by dropping them. You can also download them by clicking anything. So I can go in, I have folders here. If I click there, that's now downloading from my phone to my computer. My phone has essentially become
Oh,
the flash drive. It's the exact reverse of what we did with the flash drive.
so are you saying that any music I have
Nope,
on my phone?
I'm not saying that at all.
I can.
Nope,
put on my
I'm not
computer?
saying that at all. I'm saying any music you have on your computer or on a flash drive or any video you have on your music or on a computer, you can put on your phone.
From YouTube.
Getting stuff, from YouTube, from anywhere like that. We're going to address YouTube a bit more in a little bit.
Okay.
This is for transferring files that you have, not protected files.
Okay.
If I get from FaceTime a video of my grandkids.
Yes,
And I wanna put that on
Yes.
my computer.
you have a Windows computer, correct? Or you have a Mac. So the thing is, on a Mac, you would just AirDrop it, like we talked about yesterday. But on a Windows computer, yes, you would use something like VLC. If you had a video file, this will play back any video file, not just video files that Apple supports. It will play back any video file. So I go to this address. I'll show you where I get the address for in a second. I go to the address, and I can drop any audio or video file directly on there. Now, VLC is just for audio and video. I'm going to show you how this works one more time on my screen. So I open up VLC. I hit this little traffic cone that's right here in the corner. I don't want to give you money. Sorry, it's bothering me to give it money. So I hit something. I have this little traffic cone that's in the corner. And you'll see where it says sharing via Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
You'll turn that on, and it's going to give you a line right there that says 10.0.1.68. It's not going to say that on your, it's going to say something different on your device, depending on which network you're connected to. You type that in like a website into any web browser, and then you can put things on or pull things off of your device, which is what's very, very, very cool. That's called VLC. This is only for audio and video files. But what about all other types of
But
files?
that number that's not.
It will change. It's
It'll
dynamic.
change. But when you type that like up on your top line.
You type that up on your address bar, and it's going to take you right to there, just like where you would type in Google or anything like that.
So where is the number?
When I turn on sharing via Wi-Fi, it's right there.
Oh, that's it,
10.0.1.68.
And that's coming off of your,
That's your IP address of your device.
of your Wi-Fi or your?
That's from your Wi-Fi.
Okay.
That's from your Wi-Fi. That's your Wi-Fi address. It's like you're typing in the website of your phone on a local network.
So that it can then.
Yes.
Connect.
Do we understand that concept? We might not understand the full execution, but we understand the concept. Because the next app does that concept as well, okay? Because this is for audio and video files, but we have other types of files other than audio and video files. We have documents, we have all those other things like that. Now, a lot of people don't believe what I'm about to say. We are on a multi-billion-dollar ship, and our email system on this ship is still Lotus Notes. You've heard of Lotus Notes, part of the Lotus 123 company of properties. It was last updated in about 1994. Our maximum attachment size is about 2 megabytes before the system starts freaking out and saying, no, you can't put that much. Now, I'll tell you, we had to transfer something to our main office the other day, a new video for the ship. You know what everybody wound up doing? They called me, and they're like, hey, Rich, can you just upload it to Google Drive and then send the link? That's what they asked me about. So what I want to show you is I want to show you an app called Goodreader. Full disclosure, I was involved in the creation of this app. I'm no longer involved, but I was involved. It's a really good app. What it is, it's called Goodreader, and it allows you to transfer This will work for any type of file. It is a full file system for iPhones and iPads. Full file system for iPhones and iPads. So, the first thing I want to point out is there's a button right on the bottom that shows a little Wi-Fi signal right there. You see that little Wi-Fi signal right there? If I hit that button that shows the Wi-Fi, I hit the wrong button. If I hit that button that shows the Wi-Fi signal, I can make this a lot bigger. VLC, I can't make that big. But if I hit that button, it says, you may connect to your iPhone, iPod Touch, it'll say iPad if you have an iPad, via Wi-Fi now. So if you're on the same Wi-Fi network, you type this address into Safari, into Internet Explorer, into Chrome, as long as your phone and other one are on the same Wi-Fi network, you type in this address. So when someone needs to send me a file, I just jump on our corporate Wi-Fi network, and I open up this program. I'm going to show you what this does in a few seconds. Essentially, what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to attach a file to my phone. So I go to the address right here. This is the exact address that was put in. The address is going to change every time, depending on the network. But here we go. It says iPhone connection. I'm connected to my iPhone. I can then click on where I want to put it. I can choose any file. Let's say, let's pick something small, like the settings file from yesterday. And I can say upload selected file. Boom, it's now on my phone. Now this is about a $5 app. Boom, it's on my phone. So I just took the PDF of the settings class from yesterday and put that on my phone, and you'll see, where is this? The iLearn Advanced Settings 2.pdf. There is the PDF of yesterday's class. Now technically, I could have just airdropped this, but there's some things you can't airdrop. So this will let you manage any file. It essentially turns your iPhone or your iPad into a full wireless flash drive. We're taking this. I don't use this as much anymore because I have 256 gigs on my iPhone. Does that make sense there? If I have 256 gigs on my iPhone, why do I need to use this as much? But this application actually does a significant amount more. Have you ever been, you're on the web, you're doing something and it tells you to go to a link and download a file?
Yes.
Can you do that on an iPhone or an iPad in Safari? You can't. You can't download a file. This has a full web browser built into it that allows you to download files. So you go to the web browser and you can actually download files directly from the web browser. You can even go ahead and you can add your Gmail to here, and it will automatically pull all of the attachments out of your Gmail and have them there. It automatically queries all of the attachments from your Gmail provider, from your email provider, which is like insane that we can do that. We can add all these things. We can have our Google Drive, our Dropbox, anything like that. We can hook up our iCloud, and it's very, very cool. And you can even, I'm going to talk a little nerdy for a minute, if you have a web server or a NAS drive or something like that, or a network share, you can actually connect to the network share and have it sync the network share so it's local to the device. This will transfer any type of file to your iPhone or iPad, even if your phone or iPad can't read it. So I put on a file that's like a Mac file, and I moved that. This can also be used for video and music. Here's the thing though, it's not as pretty. If you open VLC, you'll notice it gives me nice little previews of my video and everything like that. It's pretty, I can put folders, I can do everything like that. If I open Goodreader, it's just an ugly thing. I mean, I have my video there, but I don't have any preview of it. If I click it, I can play it.
Google goggles, you can search
It's kind of ugly. You're just like,
So today,
maybe not. So the idea is, maybe not, to give you a little idea there. So when you're playing with that, that's something you do. Now, this is called Goodreader. It's about a $5 app from the App Store, but it's a really, really super useful app. I use it all the time to move stuff around.
It's been going a long time though, hasn't it?
It has. So I was involved in it about 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I was involved in Goodreader, and then I left Goodreader, went to go work for some other companies, but I was one of the guys who...
But there's a free Goodreader.
There is a free Goodreader, but it's a little more limited.
Right.
It's a little more limited. It'll read Kindle books and all those other formats. Yeah.
So if we want to download our AOL messages, can we do it via this method?
No, the answer for the AOL messages will be tomorrow in the Gmail class. We'll talk about that. Yeah.
Okay, I have an Amazon, those little paper whites,
Uh-huh.
and I bought something from Amazon.
Yeah.
Can I then share that with my wife?
Okay, again, we're talking legal things. So we're talking legal things. The better answer to your question is if you bought an ebook from Amazon, if you sign into the Amazon Kindle app on your wife's device,
Yes.
then she can read that book as well. That's perfectly legal. I don't want to talk about anything that's... I skirt things. I'll answer questions in the way that best works. Good answer, yes. So the next app I want to tell you about, it says charged with the 2 stars that it's a paid app, but I believe that this is actually free now. It goes between charged and free, but it's 99 cents. Do any of you listen to podcasts? I think we talked about podcasts yesterday. Do you use the Apple Podcast app to listen to podcasts?
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say
I
yes,
use
because then
that.
you're gonna say bad.
Bad. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. She's not going to say it. Well, I was going to show someone the Apple Podcast app earlier, and then I realized I had already gone ahead and deleted it.
What is NPR?
So NPR is a
what?
podcast. Yep, NPR is a podcast. So what I have is I have a podcast reader called Downcast, a podcast thing called Downcast, and this downloads podcasts. So it downloads podcasts. What podcasts are, for those of you that don't know, they're daily or weekly little audio or video shows that are delivered directly to your device. They're eventually what's going to replace TV shows. If I can get my news from that, why do I need CNN? Why do I need all these other ones like that? I think it's very interesting because what happens is a guy with a camera and some lights and a screen can now do stuff just as good as a big TV broadcast company can. I mean, that's the idea there. So podcasts are really interesting, and I can go ahead and I can make a podcast. I want to show you a couple of different podcasts that I listen to. One that's very interesting is called Too Embarrassed to Ask. So it's called Too Embarrassed to Ask. You can get this podcast, you can get it on the Apple Podcast app, you can get it on Downcast as well. And they talk about interesting subjects, stuff that we've actually somewhat talked about. Which running app should I use? Is the MacBook Pro's Touch Bar still a gimmick? Does Donald Trump's victory mean I need stronger encryption? What's so special with those Apple wireless AirPods? When will self-driving cars be everywhere? Why would I buy stock in Snapchat? Do I really need to learn to code? Is the unlimited phone data a ripoff? Do I need to pay for multiple cloud services? Now, I listened to this well after I made my Google Photos class, but what they say is, hey, use iCloud what it's good for, and for your photos and your videos, use Google Photos. And I think this is really interesting. Can a drone save my life? Are these things is fun? What's happening with Uber? Is it safe to buy Samsung's new phone? Yeah.
Who's writing this?
So this comes from a website called The Verge. It's not written. It's spoken audio and sometimes video. This one comes from a website called The Verge, which is it's owned by a company called Vox Media, which is partially owned by Comcast, to be completely honest. But it's a pretty independent thing. There was an older company called Engadget. I don't know if you've ever heard of them before, which this became of that. It's kind of like a consumer blog type thing. Now, another podcast I listened to, I'm just giving you a couple I listened to in this, it's called Penn Sunday School. It's from Penn Jillette. You know Penn Jillette, the magician guy with the other guy who doesn't talk. The big Penn and Teller, the big fat guy. You never seen Penn and Teller? Okay. Well, he's not fat anymore. He's actually really thin. But this is a bit of a vulgar podcast. But they talk about topics that are interesting. But there's a whole podcast network called Twit.tv. And Twit stands for This Week in Tech. When I'm home, people think this is crazy. I walk 12 miles a day when I'm home. I go through a pair of shoes in 3 weeks. So I walk 12 miles a day when I'm at home, and I just listen to Twit podcast all day. And they've got all kinds of different things. They've got This Week in Tech. They've got all about Android, This Week in Google, This Week in Apple, The Tech Guy, Triangulation, Unboxing the Surface Studio, Best Games for iPhone and iPad. They've got all of these different channels inside. It's essentially a TV network that runs as a podcast. Now, it was originally, anywhere from Canada? Tech TV. Remember something called Tech TV from Canada back in the day? There was something called Tech TV that eventually became in the States G4. What was the name of it? It was another cable channel. And then this guy, his name is Leo Laporte. I don't know if you've ever heard of Leo Laporte. He worked for CNET. He worked for a lot of big companies like that. But you can go in, and these are all completely free. That's what's really cool. So you can go in, you can learn things. I highly recommend Twit.tv. What?
Check out Planet Money.
Planet Money?
Yeah.
So if I wanted to, since he said check out Planet Money, I can go in and I can find a podcast. I can hit add. I can search for a podcast. This has the largest podcast directory, bigger than Apple's podcast directory. PlanetMoney. But it's got some great features like Planet. What? Did I spell it wrong?
Is that Planet?
Planet? Is that what you said?
Planet Money. Well, it's on the NPR app.
Oh, it's on him.
Oh, it's on NPR.
Yeah, it's on NPR. Yeah.
So I might have to go in another way. But the idea is I'll take a look at that later.
Yeah.
You can go in and it shows you your top podcasts. It shows you all the different podcasts and everything like that. The name of that is called Downcast.
Right.
Now, how do I ethically make myself feel okay stealing music? One of the pieces of software that I dislike the most that Apple makes is Apple Music. I'm not a fan of Apple Music in any way, shape, or form. The only thing I dislike more than Apple Music is the fact that they haven't separated Messages and iMessage. I think iMessage should be a separate app, so you know you can use that when you're just on the internet, and Messages should be a cell phone company app. But the Apple Music app is like hair-pulling to me, because the thing is, they just took over that music app, you know, that's the music app that was on your iPhones already, and they put in Apple Music, and you don't know what's in Apple Music, what's in the cloud, so I don't touch that app. I use an app called Google Play Music. Google Play Music is a subscription service, and Google Play, I should just look for Play. It's a subscription service that's $10 a month and essentially gives you access to any type of music you want. Any type of music.
$10 a month?
Let me continue. Apple Music's the same price. Apple Music's the same price, but I want to show you what more bang you get for your buck than Apple Music. Yeah, $10 a month, that's what I said with Apple Music. I said I don't want that much for music. I don't want to pay that much for music. So Google Play Music gives you access to all kinds of music, and it's like, okay, similar to some stuff I've listened to before and stuff like that. So I have my Adele. I'm going to pause it. I only want to play it for a fractional second so I don't get a copyright strike on YouTube for playing something that was copywritten. But the idea is I can stream any music I want. Instead of having to go buy individual songs, I can stream any music I want. Now that's what Apple Music has for $10 a month as well. But Google Play Music also includes something called YouTube Red. And what YouTube Red is YouTube Red gives you access to YouTube videos ad-free. So you get no ads on YouTube videos, plus gives you the ability to download YouTube videos as well.
Because they own it, right?
They own YouTube, yeah. So you've got ad-free access to YouTube, as well as the ability to download YouTube videos for the same price that you pay for any other streaming music service. Companies have all gone to a streaming model. They've all gone to a streaming model because that has consistent monthly revenue. If you just go buy a new Adele CD every year, you know, who knows, who cares? Give me just 2 seconds to get what's going on. I have enough phones that I can play with something. Unfortunately, Rolando's messing with something outside. Okay, so I go into Google Play and I can download. I have downloaded things inside of YouTube. So there's Google Play Music as well as YouTube. And if you have this, you can actually download things to watch them when you are not connected to the internet. So Google Play Music is my main choice. Let me show you my Google Play Music again, now that we're good. So I open up Google Play Music and I can choose from any of these things, or I can search for any music. All the music catalogs are exactly the same nowadays. Between Apple, anything I want. Yeah. Give me some music. Give me an artist.
Roy Orbison.
What is it? Roy?
Orbison.
O-R?
Orbison.
Orbison? O-R-B-I-N-S-O-N.
Yeah.
Okay.
No way.
Pretty well.
I click it, yeah.
Richard.
This one, right?
Yeah, pretty well.
Yeah,
So I go, Roy Orbison. Oh, that's like the only thing that did it. Oh, and that's anything you want. You got it.
Pretty
Yeah,
Woman.
that is
Pretty Woman.
okay. I know Pretty Woman, but I can click in, and I can give it a couple seconds, and I can either play this or I can download it. I don't want to play it because I don't want to wind up with a copyright problem. But I can play it or I can download it. So I can click here. I can say download, add to my offline, and I can go in and I can get all of this information right from here. Now the thing is, I'm not paying for individual songs. I'm paying a monthly rate. But the nice thing is all the music services are the same. They all cost about $10 a month for Spotify Premium, for the Apple one, for all that. But Google includes something called YouTube Red along with it, which gives you ad-free YouTube. It actually gives... And if I wanted to, I can actually pull this down, and I can save this if I wanted to offline. I can save it. I can say go to album. I can add to the queue. I can play next. I can choose. So here's Roy Orbison, The Orbison Way, and I can say download, and it'll download the whole album to my phone. So instead of paying piecemeal for an album, if you're gonna buy at least 12 albums a year, $10 a month is not bad. And then it also, let me finish the statement, it gives you access to, I said YouTube with no ads. I never see an ad on YouTube. I watch YouTube videos all the time. I never see an ad on YouTube. I can download YouTube videos to view them offline. And the last thing I can do is YouTube is starting in YouTube Red to make some stuff only available to YouTube Red viewers. Is it $10 a month worth? No. That's why they're lumping it in with all the rest of this stuff. So think, is anybody paying for Apple Music? Okay, well, according to Apple, there's people paying for Apple Music, but we have a nice spectrum of people there. You get YouTube Red. It's very simple. One thing that's important about YouTube Red, and we're going to talk about this in terms of TunnelBear and everything. If you want to try YouTube Red or Google Play Music, go to their website, sign up. They give you 3 months for free. You never want to sign up for a subscription directly on your iPhone because they charge more. Because Apple has to take a cut. So if you take the Google Play Music and you download it on your iPhone, it's going to be $13 a month because Apple takes 30%. It's the same reason when you're talking about Amazon, you notice that you can't buy Kindle books on your iPad. You have to go to Safari. You can't buy them in the Kindle app. You have to go to Safari, buy them, and then send them to your device. Why that is because if they were to sell it right in the app, Apple would take a cut. So things like Google Play Music and TunnelBear, which we're going to talk about next, if you buy it in the app, Apple takes a cut, and it's a little, it's a little more, okay. You go right to their website. You go sign up on Google, on YouTube's website. Yeah.
Does this song stay with me forever, or only as long as I
Only as long as you have the subscription, yes. Only.
But if I would plan a party, I sign up for the 3
Yeah.
months, use
Yeah.
their songs, and I
Yeah.
do the playlist.
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
Now, if you transfer it to a different device, you still lose it.
You can use Google. You can use it on. I have it on every one of my devices.
Right, but if you stop paying, all of them go.
All of them go. Yes.
Right.
All of them go. It's a subscription model. Yeah.
Just to make it clear. Okay, so if you wanna do that, you go to the Google website and you.
Just Google Play Music and you sign up for the free subscription.
And then you put the app on your phone. to
Then you
go
put the app
to
on
it.
your phone and sign in with your same Google account that you signed up on the website with, and it'll recognize that you purchased it. Cool? Makes sense? We're good. Okay. Now the next thing I want to talk about is TunnelBear and BetterNet. Let's talk about TunnelBear and BetterNet. The rest of these apps are pretty easy. The first few were pretty heavy, hardcore apps. I want to talk about TunnelBear and BetterNet. This is the last of the heavy, hardcore apps. The rest of them are really simple apps to talk about. TunnelBear, BetterNet, they are VPNs. It's something I had listed the other day. What a VPN stands for is Virtual Private Network. VPNs can be used for a couple of different reasons. One reason a VPN can be used is for security. If you're out and you're on an open Wi-Fi network and you want to bank, you want to do something like that, do you want to go ahead and do that if you don't put in a password for the network?
No.
Generally, no. If you want to check your Gmail when you're in an open public Wi-Fi network, can you? Why not? It's more secure than your bank. Let's be completely honest. Gmail is far more secure than your bank is, to give you a little idea there. So, yes, if you want to protect yourself, what's cool is you can use a VPN. Now, the VPN that I recommend for protecting yourself is a free VPN. It's called BetterNet. B-E-T-T-E-R-N-E-T. Now, when you open it for the first time, it's going to bother you to go premium. I'm just pulling this up. You see this little X right there? Just hit the little X and ignore it. Then you're going to say connect, which is right here on the screen. It'll say connect. It won't say watch video and connect. It is going to ask if it can install a VPN profile on your device. This is something everybody from the 1 o'clock class asked me after they installed it. You say, okay, you can install that profile. It's a way that it connects up and does the VPN. But the cool thing is, see, it says, do you want to go premium? No, I don't want to go premium. And I say skip and connect. And what's cool is, in a few seconds' time, it's not going to show on the screen for a couple seconds because it's actually connecting to the VPN. This little guy will turn blue. And once he turns blue, you are... let's try that again. This little guy will turn blue. Yeah, no, give him a second to turn blue. And when he turns blue, that means you are protected.
It says retry.
Yeah, I know. You're a little bit behind my screen. My screen's a couple seconds ahead of you to give you an idea.
So then can you switch over and go to your bank?
So now once it's blue,
There you go.
it's almost blue.
Yeah.
Then what will show on the top of your screen will show 3 letters. VPN. So those 3 letters are going to show on the top of your screen, right next to your Wi-Fi signal. That means that your connection is going through a tunnel and it is secure. Now, this TunnelBear VPN is for security and unblocking. Let's say at work, they block Facebook, or they block different things like that. You can turn this on, and as long as they don't block VPN, now they generally won't block VPN. Why they won't block VPN is that's how all of the IT guys get to the things that work blocks. So the IT guys are not going to bite the hand that feeds them. They're not going to fill the hole that they use. Does that make sense? This is what the IT guys use. So this is used for unblocking.
So there are two BetterNet.
Yeah, it's called BetterNet. Now let me see.
That one and this one.
No, those are the 2 we're talking about. We're talking about 2. They're both on the list. So there's BetterNet and there's TunnelBear. They're both there, both the ones you showed me. But they have different purposes. We're going to talk about the purpose of the other one. The idea of this one, this is completely free. It works on iPhones, iPads, Androids, and Windows computers. It does not yet work on Macs. So it works on iPhone, iPads, Androids, and Windows computers. It's completely free. It's designed for protecting you. So Google runs their own VPN on Android devices. It runs through BetterNet. But what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect BetterNet. Now, BetterNet is free. If it asks you to pay, just hit the X button. You see it right now. It wants me to watch an ad to connect. I can hit watch the video and connect, whatever, and show me a video.
So you have to be on Wi-Fi.
You have to be connected to the internet, and this secures your internet connection.
Got it.
So it secures your internet connection. One of my favorite things. Have any of you ever been to Barbados before?
Yes.
Have you been to Barbados? You know the Wi-Fi in the terminal? They have Wi-Fi in the terminal in Barbados.
Yeah, everybody-
I go out to that Wi-Fi in the terminal and I steal usernames and passwords just for fun. I don't do anything with it, but then I put it up on the screen in Celebrity Central, and I start going down the list until I find someone whose username and password I've stolen, and I said, if I can do this, bad people can too. So you want to, what?
How do you steal it?
Oh God, that's a 7-hour class. That's a 7-hour class. Let's be honest. How do I steal them? Here's the simple thing. You know whose account passwords I can't steal? I can't steal your Facebook password. I can't steal your Gmail password. You want to guess whose accounts I can steal? Very easy. AOL and Yahoo. But that's a story for tomorrow. Obviously, I can steal AOL and Yahoo. But this protects you from your data being seen on the network. It doesn't protect you from being hacked. I'm going to tell you a story of how my grandma was hacked tomorrow in the theater, to give you an idea. Now, that is BetterNet, but there's a cooler one called TunnelBear.
When you do the VPN, does it stay on forever, or do you have to log into it?
You turn it on, you turn it off when you need it.
Does it stop Google from knowing what you're doing?
Somewhat, yes, and it stops Trump from knowing what you're doing too. It stops the government from knowing what you're doing. Let's put it like this. It stops, there's some regulation that passed that actually allows cell phone companies and internet providers now, this happened in the US, to sell your data to advertisers of where you're going and everything like that. If you turn on a VPN, this does stop it. But there's another type of VPN. So that type of VPN is for security and unblocking. This type of VPN is called TunnelBear. This one's not free. It gives you a certain amount of data for free. This is for faking your location. So I like to watch TV from the UK. But if I want to watch from the US, it pops up a big error and it says, "You're not in the UK!" And I'm like, oh, crap. I also like to watch TV from Canada. If I'm in the US, it goes, "You're not in Canada!" And I go,
Can I watch Netflix from the US?
okay, so Netflix has gotten smart enough to get around this. The TV providers and stuff, they haven't gotten smart enough to get around this. So what I do is I open this app, I create an account. It's a free to make an account. You just have a limited amount of data you can use. So if you're going to watch a whole bunch of TV shows and stuff, you have a limited amount of data you can use, but you just choose where you want to fake your location from. Anybody from the UK in here? Yes, some of you from the UK. What you would do is, this is how you trick Google Photos.
Right.
You install TunnelBear, and then you open up Google Photos in the United States, and then you get the facial recognition. So this is exactly what we would do if you were to come by. We would open TunnelBear, we'd choose United States, and then we get the facial recognition. If I connected right now to one of these, it would go ahead and knock me off the screen, so I don't want to do it. But if I say Canada, it says, "Do you want to tunnel to Canada?" I say yes. If I want to tunnel to the UK, it goes yes. If you're in Germany, or you're from Germany, right?
Yeah.
And you want to go to the US, Canada, the UK, you say yes. This does not work for Netflix. Netflix is smarter than this. But here's the thing you're going to understand. Most Netflix stuff is now owned by Netflix. A lot of the newer Netflix stuff is Netflix. That'll work anywhere in the world. That's not region blocked. Very soon, Netflix is not going to carry other people's things. Very soon, they're not going to carry other people's things. It's going to be all of their own content. Because their content's winning Emmys and Oscars. Why do you need to buy crap from other people when your content's better than the new stuff that's coming out? So I have a feeling, personally, that in the next few months, Netflix is going to spin off. Oh, why am I saying this? I guess I'll say it. It's my stock feeling. Is that before this class, I calculated my ROI so far this year. I'm at 27% ROI this year. Wow. So I was like, holy crap. I was calculating it right before this class. Netflix is going to spin off and make 2 Netflixes very soon. They're going to have a Netflix that is just Netflix shows, which will be cheaper, and then the Netflix that you know already. So the Netflix that's just Netflix shows is going to be like $5, $7 a month, and the other one's going to go up to like $15 a month. The one that's just Netflix shows you can watch anywhere in the world. You can watch on a plane, you can watch in Egypt, because Netflix owns all the rights to those shows. Mm-hmm. The problem is when you can watch Jurassic Park in the United States on Netflix, but you can't watch Jurassic Park in Canada because those rights don't extend into Canada. It's a nightmare. Netflix has gotten smart enough to get around VPNs. Local news stations, even BBC, are not smart enough to block them. Netflix has some really smart people working for them, to give you an idea there. Now, I want to go through some quick apps to give you an idea that I want to show you. We're going to skip late shift, and we're going to talk about that last. But I want to talk about IFTTT. Who's done computer programming before? I'm about to teach you computer programming.
No.
IFTTT stands for if this, then that. If this, then that. And what you can do is you can program digital things that are in your house. So you can tell it to automatically turn on your lights at sunset, or to make a grand entrance when you get home, or to turn off your lights when you leave home, or to press a button and make your lights color loop, or tell Alexa to start the party and your lights color loop. This is a way that all of your devices can talk to each other. You may have a smart thermostat that's a Nest. You've heard of Nest before. You may have some smart light bulbs that are Hughes. The problem is those devices can't talk to each other without a middleman. This is the middleman. So if I go to My Applets, I can see that if it's going to rain, if the current condition changes to rain, all the lights in the house change to the color blue. So I have smart light bulbs, and all the lights would change to the color blue. And I can see last run 2 days ago. The last time it rained in Miami was 2 days ago. All the lights in the house changed to blue for 1 minute. My mom's like, what the hell's going on here? Why are the lights all turning blue?
And that's just the bulbs.
That's just the bulbs. The bulbs have a hub. They connect to this. It's called IFT. You will see IFT. Now that you know what it is, I promise you'll see it more and more around. It's just on website stuff, and you never paid attention, but it's the only thing that's IFT. If the stock price of Apple goes up more than 2%, the lights in my dad's office go green, because the majority of our holdings are in Apple. If it's down more than 2%, the lights in my dad's office go red. So he doesn't have to look at his stock portfolio, and it's actually going to tell you the movement in the stock portfolio. If I say, Alexa, trigger party time, which is something that you'll see on stage in a few days, it automatically color loops all the lights. Do you remember Night Shift the other day? Remember we were talking about Night Shift? At 10 p.m., it changes the light temperature in the house to 3500 K, which removes all of the blue light from the lights and lets you fall asleep better. So at 10 p.m., it just slightly removes the blue lights from there. But it's so simple to do. All you say is, if this, then that. Now, you likely don't have a connected washing machine, but it's very likely the next washing machine you buy, you won't be able to buy a washing machine that doesn't have Wi-Fi on it pretty soon.
My husband will have to learn
Yeah,
to talk to
your husband will have to learn how to do it. You won't be able to buy. Samsung now makes refrigerators that have cameras inside of them. So when you're in the store and you don't know if you need milk, you open it up and you look at the cameras in the refrigerator. We laugh, but that's going to be a built-in feature. This is kind of like we're talking about electronic locks in cars a couple years ago.
They're being sold in the UK now.
They're being sold in the UK now, yeah.
Yes,
The ones
my son had to go on a course to able to install them.
to install. But just think.
But so, Rich,
Yeah.
we've been seeing some warning things about this stuff. Like, that stuff is easy to hack. Electronic
Of course it is.
garage doors, electronic
Of course it
front
is.
doors, that stuff is easy to hack.
That stuff is easy to hack, but here's the thing. You ever heard of a bump key? B-U-M-P-K-E-Y. You've heard of a bump key? A bump key, I don't know why this is coming up now. A bump key is a key that's shaped in such a way that you put it in any lock and you bump it with a hammer, and then you can open the lock. That's even easier than hacking an electronic door, because someone with no education can do a bump key.
But they're talking about like
Hold
cars.
on. Let's understand this, okay? The people who are smart enough to hack this thing, you want them gainfully employed. I am a white hat hacker, okay? What I mean by that is I hack things for fun. I sat in that terminal in Barbados and I hacked all those people's AOL accounts. Did I go in and steal money from their bank accounts? No. Could someone have done that? Yes. So that's why you want to make sure the nerds have good employment, because yes, I agree. You can open most cars. I'm going to tell you, you can open most Lexuses made before 2014 by drilling a hole in the tennis ball, putting it against the door, and slamming it against the door. It can push compressed air and unlocks the door. Oops. So here's the thing. These failures have existed for years, is what I'm trying to say. And you're just going from physical to digital. Can things be hacked? Anything is hackable. You will never hear me say something's not hackable. I'm saying Google's got better security than your bank, but have I ever said Google's unhackable? No. I said they have better security than your bank, which is true. So yes, I agree with you. So I say if this, let's just do something easy. If this were to happen, then you do that. So if the condition changes to snow,
shovel it.
well. So you made a joke. And here's the funny thing.
Future.
It's not the future, it's actually the present. They have robots that will scoop the snow from the front of your house, which you can hook into that, and you can tell the robot to go on patrol and shovel the snow.
Vacuum the house.
But here's the cool thing. A lot of things have IFT integration. So Gmail has IFT integration, and you can say, hey, look, if my sister sends me an email, turn the lights yellow for a few seconds. And I can go in and I can do that. So I was saying, if it's going to snow, what do I want it to do? These are all the services that it connects to. It connects to BMW. It connects to Dropbox. It connects to Flickr. That's a Yahoo service. It connects to Google Glass. It connects to all of these different things. It connects to the iOS photos. It connects to Google Photos. It connects to everything here, and you can program if this, then that. Now, the next app I want to tell you about, sorry, I got to steal that from you. I need the charger myself. So the next app I want to tell you about is actually HBO Go /HBO Now. Now, this is something the first class asked about, and I thought it was very relevant to the discussion. Have any of you heard of HBO Now before?
I have HBO.
So HBO Go, if you subscribe to HBO, don't know if you subscribe to HBO as part of your cable package at home. If you subscribe to HBO, you can download HBO Go. And I posted a picture the other day. I'll show you the picture I posted the other day. Between my classes, I was watching, where's my picture that I posted? I was watching Last Week Tonight, eating some macaroni and cheese in the crew mess. This was yesterday, between the theater class and the 1 o'clock class. I was watching that on HBO Go. I just sign in with my cable subscription, or my parents' cable subscription, and I'm able to do it. But what it's cool is HBO Now. Now, HBO Go and HBO Now are the same thing, essentially, but HBO Now you can subscribe to without having cable service. So you can pay directly through the app for HBO. For $15 a month, you can pay for HBO and just HBO, and that's the same thing it would cost to add it to your cable service. Now, HBO has that, Showtime has that, Cinemax has that, all these different ones have, Starz has that. You pay a certain amount a month, because here's the thing to understand. HBO owns their content, and who are they responsible to for their content? Only themselves, because they fund, and they create their content. So like we're talking about Netflix having a tier for stuff just they make, HBO has the rights to distribute their content. Now, CNN and Fox News and, let's say, FX and Nickelodeon can't do that same thing because they have to be bundled into a cable plan. This is an add-on, so they're selling directly. So imagine in the future if you could go ahead and get any TV show you want, any TV channel you want on an a la carte basis. So HBO Go is if you already have HBO. HBO Now lets you subscribe to HBO for $15 a month, which is what's really cool. So you can actually subscribe to HBO for $15 a month directly from the app. You can get it on your Apple TV. You can get it across all of your different devices. Someone asked me to mention that. I'm going to skip late shift very quickly. We're going to come back to that at the end of the class to give you an idea, because I want to show you on the TV here. The next thing I want to talk about is something that is very important to me. It might not be very important to you, but it is very important to me. How do you know it's very important to me? It's because it's on my bar that never moves. Okay? You already know about these first three. You know about Facebook, you know about Messenger, you know about Google Photos. None of you have any clue what Reader is, I can guarantee that. Yep. How many of you read and check news and check stories from a lot of different websites? And you go back to the website a couple times a day. Imagine if you could get it delivered like email when there's a new story on a website. So you can get delivered just like email when there's a new story on a website. So this is called Reader. And what you do is you add the websites you visit to this system right here. So I add the websites I visit, I add in the websites I visit, and it will automatically give me all of the stories from those websites across all of my devices that I've installed Reader on. Now it works on the iPhone, works on the iPad, works on the Mac as well. And it'll automatically synchronize. Now you can tell I'm a little bit behind in my reading. The maximum you can have is 5,000. But there's a lot of different things that I read. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you four that I find very interesting that I read in Reader. One is called 9 to 5 Google. It tells you all the new things that Google's done. So it's called 9 to 5 Google. You can just go to their websites as well. Another one's called 9 to 5 Mac. It tells you all the things that are going on with Apple. New updates, new leaks, different things like that. Another one is called The Consumerist. It's a blog that was part of the Consumer Reports. That what's really cool is every year they have a challenge and they give out a golden piece of poop to the company with the worst customer service in America. For the last 8 years, the same company has won.
Oh my.
Which company? Comcraft! Comcraft gets courier delivered.
They are getting much, much
No, they're not.
It's not gonna be around that
Jane,
long.
Jane, congratulations. Comcast marketing has worked on you. Okay,
Venice, Florida.
Okay,
Go
in
with
one
it.
area, they may have a good regional manager in that area.
Well,
But that doesn't mean as a company they're any better. Companies, and we're going to mention this again tomorrow.
Have their cable crew out,
Yeah.
cut through your sprinkler system.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
See
Here's
how-
the simple
see how
answer.
many years it takes to
Here's the
get
simple
that done.
answer. Companies don't change the name of their service if they have a good reputation.
Absolutely not.
Celebrity's not going to change its name because it has a good reputation. Comcast's main way they're referred to now is Xfinity.
Store.
Yep, you go to the Xfinity store.
Tell us some more of those.
I'm going to give you one more. So some of these won't make any sense to you. I want to give you one of the last ones that I love because we're all Apple users. It's called MacRumors.com. And we've got something called that a bunch of people contribute to. There's a bunch of anonymous people. You might have met one of these people before. I'm not sure. Where is this? You might have met some of these people before. It's 50 anonymous people all over the world that nobody really knows contribute to something called the Mac Rumors Buyer's Guide, which tells you when you should or should not buy a new Apple product. You may have met one of the 50 anonymous contributors before. I really don't know. He might be sitting on a stool, but there's some anonymous contributors. And what's really cool about this, what this does is it tells you when you should or shouldn't buy different Apple products. Let me see if I can show you what's going on.
That's on Mac Rumors, isn't it?
Yep, it's on Mac Rumors. It's called the Mac Rumors Buyer's Guide. I may show you that tomorrow because things are not behaving with me right now. Because I'm trying to show something up on the screen. Oh, no, there it was. Hold on. It's called the Mac Rumors Buyer's Guide, and it's very simple. If you should buy a product, it's green. If you shouldn't buy a product, it's yellow. And if you really shouldn't buy a product, it's red. So you'll see, it's showing you the iPad. The iPhone is neutral because it's mid-cycle. iPod Shuffle, iPod Nano, iPod Touch, iPad Mini. And you can look at it in iOS. You can look at it in Macs, whether you should buy a Mac, whether it's neutral, and iPod's another, whether you should buy, or just depending on...
Apple TV don't buy.
Okay, but why it says don't buy, I want you to understand. It means that it's likely it might be refreshed in the near future. That's what it means by don't buy. I'm not saying don't buy these products. This is based on, I'll show you the metrics that they, I was going to say we, that they, the anonymous people, look at. We look at the average days between release cycles of the different products. So you can see the first iPad Mini came out in October 2012, and there was, see the number of days that happens between all the different units? So it's been 322 days. If they were going to update it, they would update it. You see where it says days since release? That release was not a release, it was just a price cut. So you can go in and those don't buy ratings are the iPad. This is the new old iPad.
I think the reader is good if you have a lot of stuff, but I get 9 to 5 just eating.
Yeah.
Something comes out.
Yeah, you get 9 to 5. It's great. Yeah,
Shoots right to you.
but I need to keep track of it across multiple devices throughout the day.
Yeah.
So the iPhone, neutral, mid-product cycle.
got you.
So it's been 228 days since the last release on average. They release a new iPhone every year. I can tell you, very simple. And they release it about the same time, every 365 days or so. So you can see the first iPhone, so the second iPhone was 467, 353, 364, 357, 365, 363, 378, 228. So to answer your question, on average, you get a new iPhone every about 350 days. And we're at 228, so that's why it says neutral, mid-product cycle. But that's not decided by numbers. That's actually called by people. And these people, these 50 anonymous people, all vote on whether or not it should be a buy or a don't buy. And I keep that inside of my reader.
I'll say one thing here.
Yeah?
When I took your class before, you told me just go to the iPhone store,
Uh-huh.
lease it. When it
Yeah,
comes
that's
out, just get it, do it,
Yeah,
and you get Apple
you
Care
did
for
that,
nothing.
right? Yeah.
And I did it. You get Apple Care for nothing.
Yeah, so you have the 7 now, right? Or
Well, no, I got a 6.5 because I'm keeping this for my wife.
oh, you're keeping that one for your wife.
But next time I'll be in the
Okay.
yearly cycle.
So the next thing we're going to talk about is called the LaMetric time. Love this thing. See this little guy right here? It's actually a, let me open it up on here. The LaMetric time. It's actually a little ticker display that you can put on your desk. I put it on my desk, and I can see what's going on. I can see the news. I can see what I have new in email.
Oh my God.
I can see how many YouTube subscribers I have, and different things like that. I can actually control it. I'm not going to do the software update now. And I got the stock price of Apple, and the stock price of T-Mobile.
143.
And yeah, it's actually got it all right on there. So I can type in Apple, T-Mobile, and it actually shows me all of these different things. These are my YouTube subscribers that I have so far. These are new things in email, and all of these different things. It'll tell me what's going on. It even has a speaker inside that it can do it, but it's like, that's the news. North Korea carries out large-scale artillery drill. Oh, wonderful. The good news is I think we're going to get rid of North Korea in the next few weeks. We won't hear any more things about North Korea because they won't exist anymore.
Diplomatically, of course.
Yeah, technically. What? Of course we are. It's fine. It's fine. It's a joke. You won't hear about them anymore. But hi, video. But the cool thing is we can go in and you can see all this in a little ticker, so you don't have to grab your phone. And the nice thing is when it gets dark, there's actually a light sensor inside, and it will automatically dim this. You'll see it start dimming, and then it becomes a night clock. So it shows you. I generally don't use lights in my cabin. I just keep my window open.
You just don't have enough gadgets.
I don't have enough gadgets.
So I'm just wondering if that would be, because we all know it's not such a handy gadget for most people.
Yeah?
But you could control whatever scrolls across there?
Yes. You can put your emails, you can put the weather, you can put whatever you want coming across there. Things become a little more interesting, don't they?
Yeah.
Pray tell, what does that cost?
About $150 I bought it. I really like this little gadget like that. It's called the LaMetric Time, and it's an internet-connected scrolling display that you can display messages, you can do whatever you want on it. And it has Wi-Fi, it has Bluetooth, it can play podcasts and radio stations and all those different things. It's got a speaker. I think it's cool. That's why I like to show that one. Now let's show something a little more fun. Glasses off. Memoji.
Oh, that's funny.
You've seen this? Or you saw it in the earlier class? Or she saw it in the earlier class? No, just her. Just her. We've probably all sent emojis to people before, right?
Yes.
This is called Memoji. What it does is it takes yourself and it emojifies you.
Oh, God. No.
She's like, oh, God, no. She's going to get a little bit angry. But don't worry, she still loves me. But I am a devil. She's happy too. And sad at the same time. But if you eat too much food at dinner, you know what you're going to be? You're going to be sick. But you love food. But still, when you're sick, it makes you sad. And you think you're so cool. You think you're so cool. But if you drink too much after dinner, but don't worry, you're still nice until you're naughty. And one day you can be a nerd, just like me. But just remember, if you drink too much again, you might vomit. Or fall in love. Or make some money. Or even the brown chocolate. What it does is it makes animated emojis with your face. They're called Memojis.
Wow.
It's really quite cute. It's called Memoji. So I have 3 more apps we're going to talk about today, and we've got about 10 minutes. I'm going to table the password managers thing, and we're going to talk about that in questions along with location services, because those are questions that 2 different people have asked me, and I didn't have time for the first one, which means I'm doing right on time. So one of the apps I'm going to talk about is US only. It says on there, USA only. I'm going to explain it to you. Unfortunately, it will expand soon enough. But what I want to talk about first is called Mint.com, my mom's least favorite app, because I taught it to my dad. I tell my dad actually is an accountant, and I know things about money before he does. That's what's so funny. He's an accountant that used to work for a firm called Arthur Andersen. We'll talk about him a bit tomorrow in the theater class. But I showed him this app, and he loves this app. It's called Mint.com, and what it is it tracks your money spending.
No, I don't want that.
Uh-oh, I just made it.
Dale, get that. Get that one. Dale, you
Tracks
get
your
that.
money spending over time. It's amazing.
How does it do that?
I'm going to show you how it does it. And this will work in the US, in the UK, in Canada, anywhere like that. What you do is you sign into it with your information from your bank, from your credit card company, from your mortgage company, the way you would get to the online account. Now, trust me, I'm not going to sign in. I'm going to tell you who does this. Who's your bank in Canada? I'm not going to ask you for your username and password. Just who's your bank?
CIBC.
CIBC, okay. CIBC, that's how they would call it.
BC.
I guess, okay. Canadian something, something, something? It showed.
Imperial Bank of Canada.
What is it called?
Canadian Imperial Bank. Corporation.
Canadian Imperial Bank of Canada. And then what I would do, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce or Canada.
Commerce.
Okay, of Commerce. And I go in and it's going to ask me, don't worry, I'm not going to ask you this. It's going to ask me for my username and password for my online banking. Once I give it my username and password for my online banking, it's going to make a little handshake relationship. Oh, I have to show that picture again. I don't want to. It's going to make a little handshake relationship saying, okay, we want to be able to view your information from that account. This is read only. So you can't make trades or anything like that. This is read only. But what's cool is you can actually read all the information so you can see this is liquid cash. So liquid cash, this is credit cards. This is investments. I only keep things that are something liquid in this app because it makes me know. And it shows you your cash, your credit debt, your investments, breaks it down. Every time, every single transaction you have from your credit cards that you link up in here, posted here. So my dad will call and I'll go, you spent $300 at Walmart? What did you buy? Because it comes through literally instantly. This will also show your spending habits over time. You can look at your spending. You can see what you spent money on. The coolest thing is it is all automated. You just sign into all of your different accounts right in here. It works with all of the major banks all over the world. Now, this is another thing I will let you know. This started US only. So I'm going to show you Robinhood in a few minutes, which is US only. It's got some of the same people behind this app doing Robinhood. So you're going to go, okay, this makes sense. So this tracks over time. If I go in, I'll open something that's not too telling. It's my Amazon spending. And I'll see there's my spending on Amazon. And then there's my payments to those same Amazon things over time.
You
Yeah.
put in your credit card?
You put in everything. You sign into your American Express account. You sign into your Chase account. You sign in all that. This is starting to scare some of you. I'm sure you've heard of Quicken before.
Yes.
Quicken, Intuit, the bank, the way that everybody files their taxes. The same company is behind this. Intuit's behind this. So the same people that are already getting all the stuff for your taxes and all of that, it's run by Intuit, which owns Quicken, TurboTax. They own pretty much all the financial software out there is owned by Intuit, and they own this. This is financial software for millennials. This is for, and how they make money is they'll say, what's cool is they got a lot of stuff built in. They can like check your credit and stuff like that for free. So to check your credit, and they'll say, hey, this is a credit card that we think will work based on your credit. And it shows me my payment history, it shows me my account history, and it gives you all this free. It's a way for people my age to manage their money. And it's really high tech. My dad uses spreadsheets and everything like that.
So you don't enter anything.
You don't enter anything. You sign in with your bank information once, and it calculates it all for you. It does a digital handshake.
How secure is this if you said the banks aren't secure?
So here's the cool thing. Let's be honest here. When it sets it up, it's setting up read-only access.
Right.
Meaning that in a worst-case scenario, someone hacks your account, all they can see is what your balances are and what your spending is. No one can transfer money out. I can very clearly, and I'm going to post this on YouTube, I can very clearly show this because there's no account numbers. There's nothing like that. It doesn't show any of those account numbers, doesn't show anything like that. You have to know what you're looking at. If you don't know what you're looking at, it's completely worthless.
Unless they get hacked.
What?
Unless they
No, it's still just a handshake.
But
In a
you
worst
will be
case scenario, all they will see is the balance of those people and where that balance is. The account number's not transferred. None of that's actually transferred. So I feel safe doing this. Here's the thing. I'm a big security person. As you've noticed, I like to talk about security. I would not use this if I didn't trust it. I would not share it with you if I didn't use it. Does that somewhat answer your questions? I wouldn't share it. Yeah.
Can you use a brokerage account too?
Here's the cool thing. yes, you can use a brokerage account as well. I was going to show you something with next. Yes, so you can use a brokerage account. I actually have my 401, what is that called? My IRA.
Yeah.
My dad made me open an IRA. I have my IRA inside of here as well. It calculates my IRA, and it's got that. That's the investments. I don't like to keep a lot of investments in here. We're going to talk about investments, and then we're going to talk about Apple support. Those are the last two apps we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk about investments. How many of you have investments that are in stocks or bonds or things like that? And every time you buy a stock, what do you have to pay?
$4.99.
$4.99.
$7.95.
$7.95. One of the best criminal organizations that's legal in the world is banks and stockbrokers and all of those different things like that. I want to show you an app called Robinhood. People think this app is too good to be true. It took me about 6 months to convince my father, who was a partner at an accountant firm, that it was okay to use. It took me about 6 months to convince him, okay, this app is okay to use. It's called Robinhood, best name ever. It is a free stock trading app. But I want you to understand it is just a platform. What I mean by that is it can technically work in other countries as well. Right now it's only in the US, but it's a platform. Its biggest backer is a company called Alphabet. I'm sure you've never heard of Alphabet before. That's Google. And this is where I do a lot of my investing on. This is where I do my day trading on. I have another investment account that stays and it's long term. But this is where I do my day trading on. It is commission-free trading. Why have you never heard of this app before? Because anywhere that financial services can be advertised, all of the other brokers have paid money to make sure that this company can't advertise. Believe it or not, that's perfectly legal. Is to pay money. If you went, what?
Who's the transfer agent?
The transfer agent is Apex Clearing. That's who's the actual transfer agent.
And they hold the stock.
And they hold the stock for you. So this is a platform. So essentially it's just in the US right now, but it can expand to other markets when they have different clearing agents built in. So they're expanding to Canada next, and then UK and Australia after that. They don't have firm dates, but Robinhood is not who's actually holding your money. There is a transfer agent called Apex Capital that's going ahead and actually holding your money.
So how do they make their money?
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. The cool thing is when I add a new account, have you ever sent money to an investment firm before? You have to send a check and to make the linkage. They do 2 small deposits and all that kind of stuff. That's crap. All you do here, it's made by some of the people that were behind Mint. You sign it into your bank account and you can transfer money instantly. Transfer money over instantly. My favorite is like Charles Schwab is there, and that's an investment company. This is free trades. They also have margin accounts as well. If you know what a margin
TD
account
Ameritrade?
What?
TD Ameritrade?
Yeah, you can move over money from anyone. They have margin accounts as well. You can move the money. It's very, very easy. Now, I play with this. I day trade on a daily basis. My ROI is 27% for the year. I calculated that earlier. Anybody got a better ROI than that? Okay, didn't think so. 27% for the year is my ROI in trading Google and Apple and Amazon and Facebook and all those other ones like that. And I'm going to tell you, some people have cruised with me before. If you've cruised with me before, I like to talk about companies that I like to invest in. And they've made some investment decisions based on some discussions that I've made.
I was one.
You were one. You bought Apple.
Apple.
The cool thing is, I want you to pay very close attention. I'm not going to say on stage the companies I'm invested in. Pay very close attention to what I talk about in my crystal ball class. Because I'm just going to talk right down my portfolio, if that makes sense. But here's the cool thing. I can execute trades, no problem. Now, T-Mobile, we're going to actually do a trade right now, just for fun. Yeah, we're going to do a trade, because this is fun. Okay, so if I wanted to go in, I want to buy 2,000 shares at $66.30. Can I afford that? Yeah, I can. So I'm going to buy $132,600 worth of T-Mobile. I think that's right. Oh.
You actually buying them?
Yeah, he's doing
I'm being dead serious, right?
Oh, God.
No wonder your girlfriend dropped you.
I just sent a sell order. Now, I actually didn't buy it yet. It's only going to buy if it hits 66.32.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But then I'm going to put in a sell order at 66.50 because I can see the movement. I can see that it's a pretty safe buy. And with 20 cents of movement on 2,000 shares, that's $400.
Right.
Like that. No one charged me a commission, no one charged me anything. It's really quite cool. What?
You can buy all of us ice cream.
Oh, I can buy all of you ice cream.
And the no
But-
button.
But it actually hasn't bought it yet. It hasn't bought it yet because it has to hit 66.30 to be able to do it. But there's no transaction fee. There's nothing like that. I am paying on margin interest for some money that I just borrowed to do that, to give you a little idea there. But that's cool. What I'm going to do is I want to show you one more app, and I'll take any further questions after that because it's about 5 o'clock on the dot.
Was that Robin Hood?
Robin Hood, yes.
That's Robin.
The last app I want to show you, I will take any questions about Robinhood after, because if this trade executes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my phone off Do Not Disturb mode, so see if that trade executes. So, the last app I want to show you is called Apple Support. This is very, very cool. Have you ever called Apple before and they're like, okay, give me the serial number of your device, and when was your device bought and all that? Brand new app. My dad's return on Robinhood is 39%, but that's for a full year. Mine is 27% for 3 months, so we have problems. It's okay.
Quit your day job.
Quit my day job. Trust me, I quit that a long time ago. I haven't checked my email, my work email, in 4 days. It's okay. Don't worry about it. So if I go in, look at the camera again. Hi, camera. Okay, so
Just kidding.
just kidding. But this is cool. It'll identify which phone this phone is, and it's going to show me all of the Apple devices that I've ever logged into my Apple account. Shows me the serial number, shows me the support status, shows me everything. It's called Apple Support. So you download it on your Apple device, and it'll give you the details about the product, the serial number, everything like that. And if you have a problem, you can say, call me back, and Apple will call you back, already knowing your phone, your problem, your serial number. You don't have to wait on hold or anything like that. Brand new app came out about a month ago called Apple Support. Really, really cool app. Now, let you know what's coming up. Tomorrow we have the Gmail class in the morning. So that's going to be in the morning in the theater. The next day we have Richard's Crystal Ball, where we've talked about the past. We've hopefully gotten a lot of you in the present, but now we need to go to the future. So we're going to talk about the future. If you have some money to invest, I would pay very close attention to the future of what I'm going to talk about. I will never make investing decisions on the stage in the theater because that's a very dangerous thing to do. But there are certain companies I'm going to talk about and certain companies I'm not going to mention. If I talk about the company, I'm willing to make a bet that they will exist for the rest of your lives. Maybe not the rest of mine,
I was going to say, is that
but they'll exist for the rest of your lives. That's my, he just got that joke. Maybe not this guy right here. He might outlive it a little bit. But the idea is, I'm not going to give investment advice on the stage, but I'm only going to be talking about things that I believe are the future. Does that make sense? We're going to talk about Tesla. We're going to talk about other things like that. And then at 1 o'clock and 3:30 on the last 2 days, on the last day, we're going to have the questions class. Not the last day, the next C day after Lisbon, we're going to have the questions class. And then we're going to have, in the morning of the last C day, we're going to have a Google Photos thing in here in the morning again because some people missed it. Some people missed it. We're going to do Google Photos again in the morning. What I asked, which one?
What is a crystal ball?
Crystal Ball is on the next C day. So we've got Gmail tomorrow morning, and then we got Lisbon tomorrow afternoon, so we're not meeting in here after 2 o'clock tomorrow. I'm off the clock. I'm off the ship from 2 o'clock until 10:15 the next morning to give you an idea there. But we're going to be doing that. And Richard's Crystal Ball is something that they let me add. We were only planning to have 5 classes, but we got Richard's Crystal Ball. So that is going to be the morning of the second to last C day. For today, that's it. I'll stick around for any questions you have after the class. I'm going to let you go.